The NFL preseason is seeing more controversy. Several players have protested during the national anthem. And this morning, President Trump tweeted in response, slamming those athletes who did not stand. Joining me now to talk about this on set is Bill Ryder. He's the host of Ryder's Block on CBS Sports HQ. Yesterday, we were talking about the what ifs, and now we know that they are, in fact, some players protesting during the anthem. What is the statement here that this is being done during preseason games?
I think from the players, whether they're staying in the locker room or those who knelt or those who have raised their fists yesterday, I think there's a few statements. One, they're making it very clear they don't want to be cowed by the president and they're going to protest. And two, and they've tried to remind people of this in post-game interviews, they're protesting in their mind's eye violence against unarmed black men in this country at the hands of police officers they believe has not been addressed by the proper authorities. And so I think it's their turn and their responsibility to raise the issue. And
Colin Kaepernick tweeted out a couple of pictures of Kenny Stills, the Miami wide receiver, at the center of some of these protests. What do you make of Kaepernick's continued influence despite the fact that he's not on the field?
And there's a collusion trial, or at least a collusion case is moving forward to settle this. But right now, Colin Kaepernick's not a football player. He's a civil rights actor. He's a person who is acting more as a civil rights figure than he is an athlete. And he has become the face and the voice of this idea that athletes, from that perspective, need to raise their fists or bend on their knees and draw attention to these issues.
Now, almost on cue, you had President Trump tweeting a response to all of this. And we talked yesterday about Aaron Rodgers, who is advising other players just to ignore the Trump tweets. But do you get the sense that they actually, President Trump's views on this, help? Because when President Trump tweets misinformation, like these players don't even know what they're protesting, it does cause more eyeballs or more attention to be drawn to it.
It may help the president. I think it's probably pretty good politics for the president and his base. It does not help NFL owners, Errol, who just want this topic to go away. And Aaron Rodgers, it's interesting, right? Aaron Rodgers making that statement was pretty eyebrow-raising because usually in the NFL, the faces of the sport, the quarterbacks, don't get involved. But it's easier said than done ignoring the president of the United States. And it's a highly divisive issue. A lot of fans in this country support the players, and a lot of fans do not. So, no, I think as long as the president thinks it's important to talk about for whatever reasons he deems it important, it's going to be a topic that's not going anywhere.
And you've got plenty of folks who support the players, support the national anthem, support the country. What action might we see or expect the NFL to take as they still grapple with how to respond?
That's the billion-dollar question. We don't know. I mean, they have fumbled at every turn their response to this topic. It continues to mushroom, in part because the president is setting the agenda. Some of the players who protest are setting the agenda, but the National Football League, which always made it about protecting the shield, they don't know how to respond. They don't know what to do, and they can't get their arms around it.
In terms of the games themselves, what are some of the performances from Thursday that stood out to you?
You know, there's several, but the really big game was Browns-Giants. Saquon Barkley, the number 2 overall draft pick, a running back. Some people thought maybe it was a reach. His very first play broke off nearly a 40-yard run. And Baker Mayfield, the number 1 overall pick, plays for the Browns. Had a couple touchdowns. He looked pretty good.
Let's not forget, that's what it's supposed to be
too.
All about. Yeah. Bill Ryder, always great to see you.
You bet.
Thanks very much. And don't forget, you can watch Bill Ryder's show, Ryder's Block, Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports HQ.